Imagine putting just 40% down and owning a property that brings in $5,000 to $18,000 every single month. Sounds crazy, right? Well, today I am pulling back the curtain on how everyday professionals, the doctors, the pharmacists, the engineers inside of our community, you name it, are building wealth through short term rentals, often without a pile of cash. We're not talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash. As a matter of fact, one of the members in our community just recently got a property under contract using an old retirement fund. They rolled it into what was called a Roth IRA, then rolled that into a solo 401k. The process was ushered by faculty inside of our community. And in just 6 months, they were able to get their investment back. Okay, so stick around because I'm going to share the exact blueprint that's helping people just like you launch their own short term rental empires. Hello, everyone. For those of you who are joining, hello and welcome back to the Luxury Rental Doctor Show. I'm Dr. Rachel, your go to healthcare professional turned real estate investor. We operate out of Georgia, Florida, Arizona, Tennessee, Texas, and Pennsylvania. You might have seen one of our luxury midterm rentals featured on Netflix, but what really drives me is sharing the invaluable information with our community, especially my hardworking women in medicine who are just fighting for their lives, juggling multiple roles, and striving to make ends meet and realizing, you know what, there's got to be a better way. So today I'm going to break down for you my 2025 top 12 steps that many of our community members, including our medical professionals, what they have used to launch a thriving short-term rental business and build long-term wealth with just a few properties. We're talking about one or two properties that have moved the needle for them. If you're ready, let's dive right in. Step one, find your money. It's your hidden money matrix. One of the activities that we do inside of our community is we're looking for the money that we can use to put a down payment. Some of our members have actually leveraged 0% down funding. So, for those of you who are thinking, you know what, I'm stuck. I don't even know where to start because when I think about investment properties, I'm thinking you need hundreds of thousands of dollars to get started. This is where most people get stuck. On step one, they're already stuck. Okay. So here's the deal, I need you to think that it does not take hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash to get started. The truth is, the vast majority of our members are leveraging anywhere from 20 to 30 to $40,000 to get started with their very first property. And I'm going to show you exactly how our members are making it happen. So, one of our members, I mentioned a little bit earlier, she's an attorney out of the greater Atlanta market. She works for the federal government. She was able to get a property under contract using 0% down loan from a local credit union. Excuse me, pardon me. I don't know why I'm coughing already. So she used a 0% down loan from a local credit union. Other members of our community were able to leverage old 401ks or IRAs without the penalties. Essentially, they're borrowing from themselves, essentially, right? So they are using those as loans. A few of our other members have actually leveraged underperforming long term rental properties that they may have had. They believed in the BRRRR strategy. They listen to a lot of podcasts where you buy all of these underperforming properties in the Midwest, these grab back properties for $17,000, $18,000. Well, it turns out those properties don't really appreciate. Those properties are not even bringing them enough revenue to want to wake up, and really build that business. If you're generating an extra $50 to $100 a month, that's not going to be enough to make you want to move mountains to make a business work. So what they did with those properties is they converted them into short-term rentals by selling them, taking the proceeds that they could cobble together and leveraging a tax hack called the 1031 exchange. Okay, so that's one way they were able to get in. Most recently, a few of our members are using their year-end bonuses strategically, some of those who took on extra shifts. They were moonlighting. They were doing locum tenens. They cobbled together all of that cash. They piled up cash, piled up cash, piled up cash, and they were able to come up with that down payment. So that's step number one. Find your down payment. And again, if you find an amazing 0% down product from a local credit union, or if you need a 10% down product, and so on and so forth, you still need some cash to get started. Okay, don't believe the hype where we're gonna buy properties with nothing down. You do need some capital to get started. All right, step number two, your power partner. So one of your most strategic partners from the get-go is your financing partner, your lender. Okay, so when it comes to real estate investing, you want to build your funding stack. Your funding stack is comprised typically of two segments. Number one, your down payment, which we just discussed, and number two, your loan, the mortgage product that's covering your loan. Okay, so the magic happens when you find an amazing lender that you can work with again and again. So everyone who's thinking, again, I need 20% down, I need 25% down, forget about all of that nonsense. No, most of our members are leveraging 10% down loans, if not lower, using lenders who actually understand how the short-term rental and mid-term rental model works. Okay, so it's really important that you find out who these vacation rental lenders are. One of the lenders we work with in our community is Jeff Chisholm's. He's Mr. 10% Down. We work with Brenner Carls from the Mortgage Shop, and we have a few others as well that cover debt service coverage ratio loans. So say the 10% down, you've exhausted those, you can only do 10 of those. By the time you get to the third or fourth one, your debt to income ratio is going to be impacted. So if you need to transition to a different type of loan product, we go into the 15% down payment programs, okay? And that is a debt service coverage ratio loan. That loan is depending on the property's performance, not necessarily your income, which is a really, really cool hack. Now, the lenders inside of our community understand that timing is of the essence. So typically you can get pre-approved within 48 hours. Some of our lenders are able to close in 21 days. Some I've seen 14 days happen. It's not often, but it can happen. And some loan products that are within our community can cover renovation costs as well, because we do want to add some furnishings to our rental properties. We want to add a few amenities depending on the market. So if you're like in the Scottsdale market or in the Poconos market or even in the Orlando market, those are pretty competitive markets, and depending on how the numbers shake out and the cost basis for you to get the property, in other words, how much it costs for you to get a property, if you get a really good deal on a purchase price, then you might need to add a little bit of work to it. I don't like you adding a ton of work, but nevertheless, we have the funding products for the renovations as well inside of our community. So one of our members, Andreen, she just launched her property. I will say in the South, yeah, just the South, Middle America. I'm not going to say where because she is crushing it already. She launched and she added some amazing amenities to make this property stand out from the crowd. This property essentially has become, I would say, the place to be. She added pickleball court, basketball, and so on and so forth. So all this to say, work with short-term rentals, specialized lenders and underwriters who understand exactly what it is that you're looking to accomplish, okay? So those types of lenders, they're not first-time homebuyer lenders. They understand that, hey, I better look at the income. I better use the data tools that the investors are using to understand what the actual income is for that market. So I'm super excited. Oh, darn it, why do I keep hitting this? So super excited about number two. Number two is one of the first steps is to determine who your funding partners are going to be for your loan product. Number three, tip number three is market mastery. So this is where we separate the amateurs from the pros. Full stop. Okay, so picking the right market is not about guessing. Profitability, guys, profitability does not happen by accident, right? You need to understand your market dynamics. You got to know exactly how the numbers work, where the numbers are going to work. This is all I do day in and day out is just analyze markets. As a matter of fact, if you access our top 75 cities with the highest profitability for short term rentals by going to 75gems.com, that's 75gems.com. This is where I analyze year round seasonality. I analyze um, revenue potential. I also share with you some data around patterns that indicate whether there's regulations or not. You need to understand this before you invest. I want to target markets where there are higher average daily rates, higher ADRs. For me, that's important. Like, why would I go to a market that's underperforming? Why would I go to a market where no visitors are visiting, right? I need to take a sip of water. Hang on, guys. Hang on. Okay. Here's my nice little cup. I don't know what's happening. I don't know why. I don't know what's happening, but I'm going to take a sip. Yeah, so with the tools out there, guys, we have more than 10 years worth of data. More than 10 years worth of data. There's no reason for us to guess. Let's go where the higher ADRs are. Let's focus on those proven markets that have proven ROI and stop playing games and fooling around with, oh, I think this market would be great. Oh, Bruno told me this market would be great. Okay, so one of our members launched their property in Lake Geneva just 3 months ago, and they're already pulling in $764 per night. That's $764 per night because the vast majority of the time we spent was choosing that perfect property, choosing that perfect market. The property needed a little bit of work. We chose that perfect market. The property was out the gate generating, barely making $200 a night. Barely making $200 a night, but the same property, completely different result because of the potential of that market and what we knew we had to do to bring that property up to par. Okay, so I want to take a moment. I want to pause, guys. Feel free to drop all of your questions in the chat. I am going to have an opportunity to go through them. I want to answer them. I'm looking around like this because I don't know where the questions are coming in from. So let's take a little intermission and let's see if I can find where the questions are coming from. Like, wouldn't that be great to know where my questions are coming from? Because I know quite a few of you are watching right now. Do do do. Okay. Where are my questions? And guys, while you're here, if you wouldn't mind, pardon me, if you wouldn't mind letting me know where you are zooming in from or where you are watching the live stream, I would really, really appreciate it. Guys, I don't know what to do. I don't know where the questions are coming from. Okay. Enter studio. Uh oh. I think I'm messing it up. Okay. I don't see anything yet, but guys, feel free. Feel free to drop your questions in the chat. I will find them. I will find them and I will find you and I will answer every single question that you have. Okay. So revisit the section and I'll also let you know how to connect with me towards the end. Okay. All right. Question number 4, data. We want to make data driven decisions. I am a spreadsheet girl. So I want you to analyze your market, analyze the property. So we found our market. Now it's time to analyze the specific property. Time to put on your data analyst hat on. But don't worry, I'm going to make this super simple for you, okay? So the way that we analyze a specific property, because we want to get down to the property level, is we'll use a tool like AirDNA or use a tool like DataRabu to find our hidden gems. So as far as AirDNA is concerned, there's analytics within that platform. They have over 10 years of data where they will help you to identify the monthly revenue for each property, the nightly rate, the occupancy, how many days it was booked. You get to see the top performers in your particular market. What I love to say about AirDNA is filters are your friend. So, filters are your friend, meaning you want to acclimate yourself with that particular platform to the point where you can see properties that are more than likely similar to the way you're going to host your property. So, one of the biggest filters that I use is I want to focus on properties that are leveraging a year round stay. So, I'll use a filter that this property was available for the majority of the year, like 270 days or more. Another filter that I like to use is I like to filter down to properties that have a lot of guest reviews. So if a property has one or two guest reviews a month, it indicates to me that, okay, this property, there's activity and action happening at this property. Now, if I go into Airbnb and I see one guest review listed and it was back in 2022, well, I wouldn't necessarily use that data point or that property as a property that I would trust the numbers. Okay. So, yes, there are a lot of tools out there. There's a lot of data out there. There are so many companies coming out with their version of data, but I found AirDNA to be the most useful for my analysis, whether I'm doing a quick analysis or a more in depth analysis. Okay. For the time being, I do not recommend just using the free Rentalizer tool as your end all be all. You're going to need a little bit more support around that. You're going to need to go in. I love using the spreadsheets and the a little bit more of the higher tier product, the paid versions, because if I'm going to put money out, I want to use the paid version of the product so that I can see the back end of how other properties are performing. Okay. So I feel like I went a little bit on a tangent there, but at the end of the day, I want to use data that provides me accurate projections. I leverage data to calculate my cleaning fees. I will tell you, DataRabu doesn't usually include cleaning fees. You got to make sure that you're monitoring that as well. I use the data points to track the occupancy trends. So there's great months that you're going to be up here and some months that you're going to be down here. However, if in 3 months you're generating your six-figure revenue in just 3 or 4 months, that's still a great, opportunity and still a great property, right? But you want to be prepared. Just because you got six figures across 3 months doesn't mean the remainder of the year you're going to get six figures per quarter, right? So you want to plan accordingly. And the way we're planning accordingly is by identifying what those occupancy trends are so that we're prepared. Okay. So that's going to be important. And I like to use those tools to identify, well, what is the pricing sweet spots in that market? What is the I would say the avatar or the guest type, the client type, what is the price point that they can bear, right? So if you're in a market where it's primarily luxury clientele coming in, 760 to $1,000 per night, $2,000 per night, no big deal. But if you're in more of a blue collared market, right? It's going to be different. It's going to be less. So you want to understand, well, what is the pricing sweet spot, for your particular market? So keep that in mind. Okay. So one of the members of our community used these exact same tools, AirDNA, and was able to find a property that was on sale for 570. They were able to negotiate down, and I'll share with you a little bit more about the details here. To 530, they closed on the property because using the data, they were able to see 7 or 8 properties that were similar to her property. 7 or 8 of them were generating upwards of 120 to 170,000 a year. She was like, okay, perfect. The numbers aren't bad. Listen, 120,000 per year revenue potential for a property that you're purchasing for 530. That's amazing. That's like a 20% gross yield, right? So absolutely amazing. She landed that property and she's already got some amazing bookings that's happening right now. Okay. All right. That is your step 4 is getting your numbers together. Okay. So step 5, we want to jump in there and identify in our market. I love a market where there is a good amount of short-term rentals available. Okay. So here's the deal. When it comes to remotely hosting your short-term rentals, I feel like I'm jumping the gun again. Okay, so let me just break this down a little bit better. Okay, step 5 is build your A team. Let's just put it there. Let's build your A team. You want to have a strong network to make sure that you're able to transact in a way that is efficient. Okay, so now that you know your market, you've got your lender, You know the types of properties you want to purchase in said market. It's time to connect with realtors that specialize in short term rentals or realtors that specialize in midterm rentals. I love realtors who are professionals. They know exactly what they're doing. They have access to not just the MLS deals, but they also have access to off market deals. I was just in our mastermind call yesterday, and we brought in one of the realtors, the top realtors in one of the markets that most of our members invest in. And I kid you not, he always has these pocket listings that he just brings to the table. One of our members just got a property built. She put $500 down with the builder to build this property. It sounds outrageous, but this is my truth. We were laughing on the mastermind call yesterday. We're like, hey, Mark, she just gave him $500 down and he went ahead and built the property, which was hilarious. And so that is what happens when you have a good relationship with the experts in the field who understand exactly what it is that you're looking for, who have access to not only the listings that are on the market, but they also have access to off market deals. That $500 builder, he's a special case, but he builds some of the most beautiful homes. He's built over 150 homes in that particular market, and this was like a chalet, just absolutely beautiful. I think the final purchase price is going to be like in the $600,000 range for this property, and we're anticipating a revenue potential about 160K or so. So just so you know, so these, again, these deals do not happen by accident. Sometimes you have to build out your deals, but having a rock star realtor in your back pocket is oh so very important. I'm not a realtor, so I'm not gonna, and I don't pretend to be one on TV, but I know all of the top realtors in the designated markets that we know that we can get that 20% yield. Okay. All right. So, having your realtor network, when I say build your A team, your realtor is who you need at this point. A little bit further down, the other individuals that are part of your A team will include your cleaner, your maintenance folks, and markets where we do not have a lot of short term rentals, like less than 120 active listings. It's going to be really hard to find that rock star A team. So, be mindful of that. Be mindful of that. You want to be in a market where they're very accustomed to what's called door lock culture. My cleaners know to use the code to get in. My maintenance people know to use the code to get in. Even the delivery folks know to use the code to the garage to get in. There's a camera in the garage. All of that. That's door lock culture. Versus if you're in a market where no one knows about short term or midterm rental, they're waiting for you to show up to the property. Well, I'm out of state. Most of our properties are out of state. I'm out of state. Nobody's showing up. Nobody's coming. Do your job, right? So it's really, really important that you create a team that understands exactly the strategy. So one of the members of our community, Lisa, Dr. Lisa, we're able to get her connected with our recommended realtors. What's great about that is she was able to save $40,000 on the list price because that realtor understood the nuance of the market. The owner wanted to sell the property based on, oh, it's a short-term rental, it's a turnkey short-term rental, but we're not about that life. I don't know if I like your furniture. I don't even know if I like your style. I don't know what's happening. The furniture is usually quite crusty, no offense, and dingy. So no, we're not going to pay an extra $45,000 because you think that your furnishings are worth that much. No, your furnishings are used up. I'm not a big fan of buying turnkey short term rentals. I'd rather have my team come in and we do it ourselves. We lay eyes on the property. We put together a really nice, fresh package. We have wholesale vendors that we work with for Pottery Barn and West Elm. We can outfit a whole house, 4 bedroom for $16,000. So I don't want your crusty $45,000 furnishings. And so with Dr. Lisa, we're able to get her purchase price down by $45,000 and she made the deal happen. So again, having access to an amazing realtor is important. It saves you money, but it saves you time as well. Gone are the days where you're trolling on Zillow till 3 in the morning looking for property like this girl, right? I don't want that life for you. I do not want that life for you. So that is why it's oh so very important to build your A team. Okay. All right. So I'm going to take a pause. Guys, please feel free to keep dropping your questions in the chat. I see you. And you know what? I want to give a little bit of a shout out, guys. I noticed this morning that we hit 14,000 subscribers. Is it subscribers? No, 14,000 followers on Instagram. Let me say that again. We hit 14,000 followers on Instagram. So for those of you who are here in the room with me, guys, thank you so much for your unwavering support. I appreciate you dearly. That support is so deep for me. It's so deep because I'm out here. I'm wondering, hello, is anyone out here? Is anyone listening sometimes, right? And just to know there's one, two, three of you, bestie, here just hanging out with me, that means the whole world to me. So just know that. And so, wow, 14,000, followers, that's huge, right? 100 followers is huge. Imagine 100 people following you and listening and connecting. So that is everything to me. Heading over to secret number six. Number six, we want to be mindful of the market that we're in right now. Okay, so secret number six is strategic acquisition. Now, here's where the rubber meets the road. Yes, the interest rates are higher. We want to make sure that we are playing game in a way that we're structuring our deals and our offers so that we win. We're not just another number in the seller's inbox. We're winning the deals that we deserve to win, right? And so that includes being really strategic and putting our offers together. So yesterday I asked the question to one of the top realtors in another market, and I asked him, you know what, is it a seller's market or is it a buyer's market? And what he said to me was very interesting. He said it depends, and we went back into the conversation of turnkey versus non-turnkey. So in the turnkey market, he believes that it is more of a buyer's market, and then the non-turnkey, it's more of a seller's market. So at the end of the day, again, we're not doing turnkey. We want to look at properties that are not fully furnished, properties that may need a little lipstick. We're going to add some paint. We're going to work on the floorings, and then we're going to be really strategic. So on our mastermind call yesterday, I was sharing with one of our members to put in an offer based off of the history of the property. Let's go ahead and put in an offer for a little bit lower than asking price. And if that provides us some pushback, that's fine. Let's keep it right there to win the bid, especially if there are multiple offers. However, let's ask for some contingencies, right? How do we ask for contingencies to make sure that our offer is still getting accepted? So there was some work that was needed. Some things were out of date, and so just having the confidence and knowing that, okay, I understand you said you did this work in the property. They were claiming that they had done $111,000 worth of work in the property. That's fine and dandy, but some things still were a little bit, I would say, much to be desired. So let's negotiate with the data back confidence that we know that we need to get that offer accepted. So even accepting the offer at the current purchase price, but asking for some contingencies such as $10,000, at the closing table, or $15,000 at the closing table. That is exactly what we're going to do, because once we put an offer on a property, this is again step 6. We want to be really strategic with that acquisition. We want to make sure that we are winning the contracts that we so deserve. And so keep that in mind. This is again another member inside of our mastermind. Oh, you know what? There was another member in the Michigan market inside of our mastermind. It was more of a lakefront property. There's a lake as well as the dunes. So really, really interesting. So everyone else was offering full price for that property, and this particular member asked a strategic $71,000 less than the asking price. And so here's the deal, because the house didn't appraise, they kept volleying back and forth. And so finally, our member was able to win the deal. So we had one member win a deal that was $40,000 lower than asking price. Another won a deal that was $70,000 lower than asking price. And the great news is that they've already made $71,000 after closing on the property. I would say a little bit around the summer. They closed on the property around the summer, which was awesome. Okay. All right. So that is number 6. So I'm going to check in and see how you guys are doing with your questions. Feel free to drop them into the chat. Let's see. I am looking. Okay. I don't see anything. I'm hoping. Let me look in one more spot, guys. Let's look in one more. Okay. I hope all is well. I hope Okay, awesome. Okay. For some reason, I don't know how to enter into this. I used to know how to enter into this space here, but I'm not seeing it. Okay, so hopefully I can get to the questions. I feel like my lighting is a little bit off as well, but we're going to be okay. All right, secret number 7, pre-marketing. Pre-marketing. So here's my favorite ninja trick that is only occurring inside of my community. Dare I say, it is our super secret strategy to start making money even before you close on the property. Yes, you heard that right. So what we leverage inside of our community is a pre-listing strategy. So we have a coming soon listing that we launch on the platforms to get some buzz built around booking our property, some buzz built around adding yourself to a wait list. That's the name of the game. So we leverage our pre-marketing strategy, which is absolutely amazing. Okay. So I started one of our coming soon pre-marketing properties for a property that we have under construction. And I kid you not, we have the longest wait list, and this property has not even broken ground yet. Dr. Ryan, he launched a pre marketing strategy as well, and he got $100,000 of bookings before he even closed on the property. So, why am I a believer in this pre marketing strategy? Well, the reason is that I have trust issues. I'm out here fighting for my life. I need to know that money is coming because money sure is going. I'm putting in furnishings, I'm doing all the things. So, we are actually, investing quite a bit to make sure the property is good to go. However, with the pre marketing strategy, we can see that the bookings are coming in. I have something just really strategically and ethically scripted that says, coming soon, our doors open on July the 1st, for instance, right? We're in the process of designing the space with you in mind. And I kid you not, time and time again, this pre marketing strategy is chef's kiss, okay? We do not want to wait until we've closed on the property. We're done putting, all of the furnishings in. We're done taking photos to sit and wait for a booking. No, no, no. I need the bookings to be ready to go by the time our doors are open. By the time we snap that last picture, I need the bookings to be coming in. And so, depending on your booking lead time, it might take 30 days, 60 days, 90 days to get that first booking. Why not pre-market it ahead of time, right? Depending on the season. So keep that in mind. Okay. So that was number 7, our pre-marketing strategy. Heading over to number 8, you want to design the space with your guests in mind. So design to impress. Design to impress. You don't need to break the bank to create an Instagram worthy space. You just don't, right? So inside of our community, we leverage a few amazing vendors that are wholesalers for Pottery Barn and West Elm. We like contractor grade furnishings, high quality furnishings to make sure that our properties are able to support the turnover of these particular guests. Okay, so realistically, the budgets for like a 3-bedroom is around $12,000 with our pre-negotiated prices. And for the 4 bedrooms, around $16,000 for the pre-negotiated prices. That's not that bad, right? That's not that bad. So this has been amazing. Again, we have a few members that vendors inside of our community that helps us to create these Instagrammable spaces. One of which is a show place. You'd have to let them know Rachel sent you, or host GPL, let them know Rachel sent you to get one of our package deals that are already pre-negotiated. And the amazing part about these packages is these pre-negotiated packages, they're really designed for the types of guests we're targeting. They're designed to maximize the space efficiently. I have my own private designer, Amy Powers, inside of our community. She's actually the one that designed our Netflix featured property. And what I love about her, though, she's super flexible. She was able to use some of our furnishings, pair up with some additional furnishings so that we can save a few bucks as well, right? Because I was working full time when we were featured on Netflix. And I was like, I'm not trying to pay all this money for a new furnishing suite or suit or however you say it. So keep that in mind, okay? So that is number 8, my friend. Number 9, picture perfect. Your photos, my friends, hold up. If you're multitasking, come back to me, okay? If you're multitasking, I'm gonna put on my glasses. Let me see who's here. Hi, Camilo. Hi, Budgetlina. Hi, Ulysses. Hi there, friends. Hey there, bestie. Oh my gosh. If you're multitasking, come back to me. You done put in all these furnishings. You purchased this big property. You poured in your blood, sweat, and tears. Next thing you know, you grab your iPhone and you're gonna snap, crackle, pop pictures of the property and put it out here for the whole world to see. Don't do that, my friend. Don't do that, bestie. I'm going to need you to take some professional photos because your photos are your storefront. That is the first opportunity that a stranger gets to interact with your property is through your photos. So make sure that your photos are depicting all the beautiful hard work that you've put into the property, right? So I'm going to need you to find a professional photographer. I'm going to need you to find a professional photographer, not just a real estate photographer that your friend or your cousin or your uncle recommended. No. I need a photographer who has experience photographing short-term rental properties like Airbnbs, or who has experience photographing design, like designer clothing, right? Some of those photographers are actually the very best. They seem to understand how to capture the essence of the property versus a photographer that is a real estate photographer. No offense to Ramon. Ramon is the only exception. He's my real estate photographer, but he does beautiful work as well with my short-term rentals. So the real estate photographer, they're just looking from like bedroom, bathroom. That's not good either. Okay. Your iPhone's not good. The bathroom photographer is not good either. You don't want this person. Okay. And it's not that expensive, guys. I'm not saying it's the cheapest thing, but it is not that expensive to get some good photos taken. I'm talking anywhere from 300 to 600 bucks, right? But you will make that money back. That is an investment that is worthy to be paid. I assure you. Okay? I assure you. So you want magazine worthy photography. I like photography where things are well lit. And once we have those photos, I actually send a few of them to the editors as well. I use a tool called Box Brownie, and that editor is able to remove the cords, add a little marquee on the TV, add a little fire to the fireplace, fire to the fire pit, add me a little twilight photo on the exterior. So those are the sizzle features of what a professional photographer can do, paired with an editing company as well. Okay, so before your photographer gets to the property, you want to make sure that you're staging each room perfectly. You want to make sure that the house is sparkling clean, no dust. The linens, they're tucked in around the edges, right? You want everything to look like tight and pristine. I absolutely love it. Some of the $1 million shots that we have are shots where, say, I'm able to host a guest count of 12 or 14 or 16. I want to make sure that the dining area has place settings to depict that, oh yeah, she's got all the dishes for 16 people, right? So you want to capture those unique selling points that other folks in your market aren't capturing. You want to capture and highlight any amenities as well. People don't read, guys. I don't know how else to tell you this. People do not read. They're looking at photos. So make sure that the photos are highlighting everything you want them to know. Sometimes, if I want them to know something about a market, I'll take a photo of text and add it in the Rolodex of pictures just to show that, okay, I need them to know this particular message. Okay, really, really important. So I want you to follow me on social. I have a few before and after pictures. I've got some on LinkedIn, some properties. You'll see how super cute they are. After investing like $300, $400 in photos, one of our members were able to jump their nightly rate from 279 to 398. 398. Your photos are your storefront. Your photos are your storefront. That's nearly an extra $4,000 in monthly bookings due to photos. Okay? Due to photos. Okay? Secret number 10. Two more to go, guys. You're almost there. Secret number 10 is boosting your visibility. Visibility boost, guys. Visibility boost. I was on a call on Tuesday in another mastermind where I do training for a group of women who are real estate investors. And one of the members shared with us, you know what, Dr. Rachel, I usually get a lot of bookings. I'm not getting any bookings. My calendar is empty. The first question I asked her, because I had a hypothesis in my mind, the first question I asked her, well, are you getting increase? Are you having conversations? You know, does it feel normal or does it feel less? She goes, as a matter of fact, I'm not getting many inquiries. No one's asking about my properties. I typically get one or two inquiries every single week, and I'll get a weekly booking and it just gets quiet, et cetera, but I'm not getting any of that. And I said, okay, let me plug you into a tool. I use a tool where I'm able to plug listings in and see where they're showing up on search. And so, if you're anything like me and you're using Google, right? When was the last time you headed to page 2 on Google to find anything that you're searching for, right? If it's not the first 5, I'm not even scrolling. I'm too lazy to scroll. I'm not even scrolling. I'm not. I'm not scrolling. Okay. Getting on page 1 is not luck. There's a science, there's an art, and there's a science. You have to be on page 1. I plugged her into the tool. She was on page 7. She was on page 7. That's why you're not getting any inquiries, boo. You're not going to get any inquiries if you're on page 7 because nobody's scrolling down to page 7 to find your specific listing. It is oh so very important to make sure that you're on page 1. And again, it's a science, it's an art, it is not luck. There's a way to make sure that you are on page 1. In other words, you want the algorithm to fall in love with your listing. And that has to do with a couple things. So for her, we talked about some high converting keywords, right? Updating her listing title to make sure some of those keywords are in there, extending her listing description to make sure that people are dwelling in her listing a little bit longer. And that has to do with the length as well as the formatting, tracking her ranking, updating the property regularly. And so we did that for one of the members in our Facebook community. We have a Facebook group of 8,000. And once we updated her listing that afternoon, she came from page 17 to page 1. From page 17 to page 1. So tell me, visibility is not the thing, right? And what I love about it is you make a few edits. Next thing you know, it happens within moments. That is huge. That is huge. Okay. So hopefully, secret number 10 is helpful to someone who is listening. Let's head over to secret number 11, revenue maximization. Show me the money. The money. This is where the good property I think is a good short-term rental becomes the greatest short-term rentals. Okay. Again, we're not just renting rooms, guys. We're creating an experience that can command a premium price. So there are so many ways that we can up our revenue I have 5 major ways. I'm not going to cover them all with you tonight, but the number one way that we're upping our revenue in our property is we're optimizing our taxes. Okay, so what am I talking about? Well, we're maximizing our tax benefits, so much so that Dr. Sita inside of our community, she's a psychiatrist, she's amazing. She launched her short term rental last year, and she sent me a note last night. She was able to shelter $200,000 of her taxable income with the short term rental. I don't know what to tell you. If you're multitasking, come back to me, bestie. I do not know what to tell you. She was able to shelter $200,000 of her taxable income with a short term rental. And the reason is that there is a act that is in legislation. It's called the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, that in 2022, we were able to leverage 100% bonus depreciation. In 2023, we're able to leverage 80%. This year, we're leveraging 60%. And next year, it's 40%. Take advantage, guys. This is how we're seeing the huge wealth transfer occurring, how the top 1%, they're getting richer, right? But it's right there, laid bare for the taking. Laid bare for the taking. Psychiatrist, $200,000 she was able to shelter on her taxes. I don't know about you. I don't know about you, right? Like, seriously. So if you're someone thinking, okay, how do I make more money? I hear you. I hear you, my friend. I hear you, my guy. I hear you, sis. But my question to you is, how about we try to keep some of the money you already made? You're already working hard. You already made the money, right? How do we keep some of that money you already made? Okay. If you're sleeping on taxes in 2025, I don't know what to tell you. I do not know what to tell you. There are some tax strategies out there that you need to take advantage of. And so yesterday she was like, Rachel, what other tax benefits are there out there for me? And we were able to share that in the mastermind. So love that. Okay, so that's one of the ways that we're maximizing our revenue potential for the property. What I'm not going to tell you, and for those of you who are new to following me, welcome, welcome. I so appreciate you. What I'm not going to tell you is go out there and buy 10 underperforming properties, and we're going to buy 10 doors and 100 doors and 50 doors, and they're all making an extra $50 a month, and multiply that by 10 and carry the 9. No. We're not going to do that. That's what we're not going to do. Okay, that is not a vibe. I'm not interested in that. That sounds like stress. That sounds out of alignment. Not a vibe. Not for me. That's what we're not going to do. However, what we're going to do is we're going to optimize and leverage the property that we already have. Okay, so you launch your short-term rental. We leverage what's called something called the cost segregation study and material participation. We took advantage of the taxes. What else can we do with said property? Well, with said property, we're able to leverage creative, valuable upsells. Okay, so another member of our community, she has a property um, in the Myrtle Beach market, right? So she threw is an operative word, but she added a golf cart to that location, and now the golf cart is generating her revenue, right? So there are an amazing number of valuable upsells that we add to our properties. Our properties are essentially an affiliate link waiting to happen. When our guests sleep and they tell us they have had the best sleep they've ever experienced in their lives, guess what? Drop them the link. Here's the link. We have a relationship with a mattress company that we can get a an affiliate payout for the mattresses, or the high end luxury toiletries, or some of the snacks, and so on and so forth. Again, this one property that's creating multiple revenue streams, and it's going to be market dependent. One of our community members, she's got beach hats for her beach property, right? So, understanding that this one property is able to be optimized, that's a game changer. Another way that we are increasing our revenue for our property is we're building a repeat guest system. So, meaning, okay, they came in through a platform kind of like Airbnb or Vrbo or Expedia, one of those platforms. However, for the repeat booking, we market to them. We tell them, hey, come on back, right? Because, for instance, we got a $16,000 a month booking. Well, we didn't get it. That was how much the guest paid. We got $13,000, right? That $3,000 in between, that's a lot of money in between that we didn't have access to. So if someone gave me an extra $3,000 a month, that's a raise, guys. I don't know how the companies you're working for right now, how the raise package is looking, the point whatever percent. I don't know what it's looking like. But if someone told me I'm getting an extra $3,000 a month, that is a raise as a W 2. If my boss told me, girl, you're getting 3,000 extra a month, a whole raise, that is a vibe, right? Yes. How do we give ourselves a raise? Well, the way we're able to implement that is by using direct booking strategies, guys. We want to use direct booking strategies. So the second time the guest arrives at the property or they want to book again, hey, say, hey, use this link, drop them the link that they're booking with you specifically, right? As a repeat guest, they don't have to go through the Airbnb platform. Uh, and then say you give them a discount. So, say, hey, book with me instead of paying 16,000, you can pay 15,000 for the month. Okay, so they're paying 15,000 for the month. Guess what? You're getting the whole 15,000, right? Before you're getting 13,000. So it's a raise for you. It's a discount for the guest. That's a win-win. That's a win-win. Hopefully that makes sense. Maybe my editor and I, we can work on doing a little bit of math because I need you to see this firsthand and I will share the receipts with you as well. It's a shocker, right? It's a shocker and it takes just a few minutes to set up something like that, okay? So really, really important. Get yourself a raise. You don't have to scale to 700 properties that are not performing to get yourself a raise. I want you to first optimize that first property before we go buck wild and get a whole bunch of properties that are not optimized. Okay. We're here, guys. We're here. Secret number 12. Secret number 12 is to scale smart. So, this is where, again, most people get stuck. They have one property and they can't yet figure out how to grow or figure out what type of investment strategy they need to do with their properties. So, this is where the magic happens for me. So, after year one, my number one recommendation is to actually leverage a mid-term rental strategy. Okay, so Gordon inside of our community, he started off with the short-term rental strategy. Come the new year, he's transitioning, so he got all his tax write-offs. So the reason we advocate for short-term rental strategy is to take advantage of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act so that you can get your 40%, 60%. We think that the 40% is actually going to increase in 2025 potentially. We don't know. There is a law that passed in the House, but it hasn't passed yet in the Senate. So if it passes in the Senate, that's 100% bonus appreciation. That's like best case scenario. However, you have to operate the property and put it into service as a short term rental to take advantage of that. Okay, that's really important. That's why we start with that strategy so that we can take advantage of these amazing tax strategies. However, we transition it to a midterm rental starting calendar year two. So if you launched in October, as long as it's a short term rental from October to December, you're solid. Come January, you can launch it as a midterm rental. So Gordon just yesterday announced to me he got a 6-month midterm rental booking. So totally sweet deal. I absolutely love it. It's a corporate booking from an insurance company. So the midterm rental strategy that we love to use is a temporary housing strategy that helps displace families who have encountered a disaster due to, say, it's water pipe damage or a fire, that occurred, or it's storm. So there's a variety of reasons families are displaced from their homes. We want to work with the insurance companies. The insurance companies, they pay very, very well, and we want to work with them. So definitely a strategy worth exploring where you get to host someone for 6 months. They're some of the best guests. They're like the absolute best guests. They are low key. They just want to be in a home that's close to their property that's being renovated. So very important, right? And they're my favorite guests. So that is the midterm rental strategy, our number one midterm rental strategy that we advocate for. Other ways that you would look to leverage scaling in your business is first, you want to systematize your operations. You want to build procedures for everything that you're doing, how you respond to the guests, how you would respond to vendors, how do you contact vendors. Jot all of that down. I used to do voice recordings and screenshot recordings so that I can hand that off to my assistant or my virtual assistant. We have some global talent virtual assistant overseas that's able to help us with operating our properties. We self manage. We don't want to necessarily pay a property manager. If your property manager, don't come for me. But we leverage a lot of technology tools, automations to effectively manage our properties, and then we scale on to the next property. So I prefer to go a little bit wide, a little bit deep before I go wide. So I want to have 2 or 3 properties in the same market before I start hopping into another market. Okay, so that is the way we scale strategically. We scale team. We scale team first in terms of figuring out what our operating procedures are and start documenting that as we continue to plan for our portfolio growth. Okay, so we've grown from 1 property to now a combination of strategies. We're at 57, and so I don't recommend it for everyone. You can just start with one, and I truly believe all you need is two. All you need is two. Okay. All right, guys. Goodness gracious. So there you have it, guys. This is my 12 steps that took our members from dreaming about short term rentals to closing an $11 million of properties in just 8 months. Look, building wealth through short term rentals is not just for the lucky few. What it does is it takes action. And if you, my friend, are ready to take action to make your financial dreams come true in 2025, I would highly recommend that you leverage our 75 gems. That's 75GEMS. Go there now and head over there. Grab our simple list. It's my top 75 cities with the highest profitability for short term rentals. Again, this is what has helped our community members, just find a market, right? And we have been able to see their empire grow. And oh, by the way, here's the best part. Tomorrow, I am hosting a free masterclass where we can dive even deeper to the strategies. If you want to learn the strategies about how Dr. Sita was able to shelter 200K, how Gordon got that 6-month booking, go to shorttermgems.com/MTR. That training won't be recorded, but go ahead, grab the link, go there. You have 3 options to register. I will be there live. We'll be in a Zoom room together. You can drop all of your questions in the chat. No question will go unanswered. We're not going to use this fancy schmancy tool where I have no idea what's happening and where the questions are. It's going to be a legit Zoom room. Okay. So just make sure you go to shorttermgems.com/MTR. Head over to that link. Go ahead and select a date that works for you. And with that, guys, let's start building your short term rental and mid term rental empire together. So, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I love you all to the moon, and I will see you next time. Bye bye for now.